Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited you're all here. We're just letting people in and we're going to be starting in just a moment. My name is Lena and I am the Director of Teen Programs. And I'm so excited to be here and talk to you about Creative Portfolio, along with my esteemed colleague, Michaela, who is in the Bay Area and who helped start this program originally in Westchester. And then we have two of our senior creative portfolians who are going to help with this presentation, Sophia Hall in Washington, D.C., and Sylvie Liss in Manhattan, New York City. So thank you everyone for being here and for doing this together. Oh, I am going to make this a slideshow so it's prettier. Here we go, I did it, yay. So welcome to our open house. This is, we're talking about creative portfolio for the school year 2022-2023, if you can believe it. It's this year already. And it is a pre-college program. And then let's see, next slide. All right. And Michaela is going to tell you a little bit about the history.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all. So Creative Portfolio was launched 5 years ago in the fall of 2017 with Lena and myself at our Westchester lab in New York. Lena really recognized that we had a lot of demand from our writers. We wanted something that was more intensive and had more challenges. So we're really excited to create a more in-depth community for them. We opened it up nationally and online in the fall of 2020. And we've seen such fantastic results. And a lot of our Creative Portfolio program writers have gone on to study at UPenn, Smith, Tufts, Vassar, Cornell, Emerson, Columbia, New York, Harvard, Bard. I mean, the list goes on and on. We're all very proud of them.
Yeah. And who are the Creative Portfolio instructors? Well, we have our core team on the full-time staff is myself, Janelle Williams, who's the Director of Programs and Outreach, Elsa Bermudez, LA Regional Manager and Outreach Programs Manager, Michaela, who is with us right now, and she's a wonderful project manager. Rita Feinstein is the DC Regional Manager. Nicole Flippo is a program manager, and Matthew Jellison is a senior manager of education. And our part-time staff includes Lily Gelman, Sophie Lee, and Amy Dubcock. And we are, because our program is growing, we are going to be adding a couple more instructors to our team. So that's very exciting too.
So each year, at the beginning of each year, we always ask our youth to participate in a confidential survey that's designed and partnered by Hello Insight, just to measure the social and emotional growth of our young writers we serve. We also do this for our Creative Portfolio writers. And we really learned in 2019, we saw a huge improvement of 60 to 70% in the areas of positive identity and self-management and academic self-efficiency, social skills, and social capital. For our 2020 data, it shows that after 15 weeks for after-school programming, around 22 hours of programming, youth showed increased interest in multiple areas directly linked to college and career readiness. Again, 70% of our high schoolers improved in the following areas, which was positive identity, self-management, academic self-efficiency, social skills, and social capital.
Woohoo! Thank you, Michaela. Yeah, that sounds good, right? We all need that. All right, Sophia, take it away.
Okay, so the Creative Portfolio program can be an online workshop or it can be in person. And I take an online workshop each week, and I think it's great because I'm really busy. I have a really busy schedule and I love writing, and having this online option provides just the right way that I can fit it into my schedule. And because it's online, teens from all over the states can Zoom in. So through the online workshop, I've made friends in LA, in the Bay Area, in New England, and in New York City, which is super cool. And then there's also in-person workshop options in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Hartsdale, Tenleytown, and Santa Monica. And those are also amazing ways to make community and form lifelong bonds with fellow writers.
Yay, Sophia. I have to tell you, Sophia is even though she does online late at night because of her busy schedule, she is involved in all of the committees and leadership, does so much for the program and for Writopia, and really enriches all of us. Thank you. All right, click. Ooh, what's included? Ooh. Oh, fancy. It did a fancy thing. Sorry, everyone. I'm technologically challenged, so it's delightful. What's included in the program is 33 weekly online or in-person workshops sessions over the 3 school year trimesters. And you choose like a regular creative writing workshop, you choose one day and time, and you stick with that one. And we've put several options. We have several options right now. Another thing that you get is 6 online master classes that are monthly on Thursdays from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 4 to 5:30 Pacific time. And we'll have things like, we'll have experts in comedy and memoir, playwriting, writing diverse characters, screenwriting, and speculative fiction. These master classes, I think, will be different from your regular workshop in that there will be a little bit of a lecture component, and then a very, very specific writing exercise to do with that. Cool. All right, Michaela, you're next. Oh no, why is it? I'm sorry, everyone.
The structured program is 2 slides back, I think.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Great. So what's included in your year-long program? So you get 2 hours of portfolio review, and this is a one-on-one between the writer and an instructor. And it can be taken any point during the year, but no later than the end of the spring trimester. A lot of our writers tend to use this for Scholastic, for college essay, anything, sometimes even for writing retreats. No, it's fine. We also have, there'll be 2 one-day submission prep workshops in the late fall, and these are focused on our annual submissions to Scholastic Writing Awards. Your tuition covers one of those days. There is an optional extra fee if you want to do the portfolio retreat over Memorial Day weekend in 2023, which we had our first one this year that we'll talk about more a little later, and it was incredible. And then, of course, a bound copy of our Creative Portfolio Yearbook, which is a wonderful anthology of writing that's been curated by our Creative Portfolio teams.
And the anthology just got sent out. So have you gotten it yet, Sophia and Sylvie? No, not yet. Well,
Fingers crossed it comes.
it should come very, very soon.
Okay, so part of the Creative Portfolio program is participating in some form of internship and leadership. So there are several options, and I love to do everything, and I love Writopia, so I've done all of the options, and each one of them was amazing. One of them was interning at a workshop. I interned with Rita in DC, an online workshop with middle schoolers, and it was really fun. I really liked reading all the kids' works and helping them edit and brainstorm new ideas, and help them with their creative, imaginative, wacky stories. Sylvie, do you want to talk about the
Yeah.
committees? Yay.
So my primary interest is in the leadership committee, so the event committee, the community and literary events committee, sorry, the community and literary events is where it is on this bullet list. Taking the lead on that this year because I'm a senior at Writopia. It's my last year as a student, which is very sad, but I'm really looking forward to helping organize this community that I love so much. We will be organizing events across the country, not just in New York, although I am based in New York. So I'm also on an online workshop, so I think it's important to still make connections in person, to have fun and connect with other writers about our craft and our interests. To make friends, I think, is very important. A big part of what Writopia is these human connections that we make, and I want to help foster that, foster support in a sort of creative capacity. And yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to, we will be hosting a lot of events. I really encourage anyone to come to the interest meeting that'll happen a little bit down the line, because the more involvement we can get, the better. So if you don't join the committee, then please come to our events. And you will make a lot of friends, and there's just a lot of opportunities to meet new people and learn new things from people, because this is a really it's a very much a group of talented people that will, I think, in my experience, really have inspired a very good opportunity, I think, to get involved in this community.
Fantastic. There's also Enviro Activism, which is a leadership club that meets on Sundays, and it's based in LA, but it can be online too. And there's so many different enviro activism things that you could do in your own community. There is an internship, an editorial internship, but those last the whole year because it takes a long time to train, and only 4 people get them. And then Sophia, can you talk about Turning the Page?
Yeah, Turning the Page is Writopia Lab's teen-led social justice committee. And each year we hold roundtables to discuss various issues that are important to us, like taking our power back and having a poetry discussion about, and also having a discussion about shaping the future we want to see, which was also the theme of our anthology this year. I think Turning the Page has put out 3 anthologies total, right?
2.
Or 2.
2.
Okay. One of them was about mental health, and then the one this year was Shaping the World We Want to See. And it was just, it's a really cool committee. I really enjoy it.
Actually, it will be our 3rd. You're right. It will be our 3rd one. It just hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
The first year was just Turning the Page, and that was focused on mental health. The one last year was We the Mosaic, and that was just because over COVID, we're struggling with identity, right? So
Yeah.
We the Mosaic was exploring identity, and then this next one, which will come out in the fall, is Building the Future we want to see.
It's really like hands off as when it comes to adults being involved. Like Lena's always there overseeing it, but it's really a team-led project. It's our own passions that fuel it and fuel the ideas. And it's inspiring for me. I started when I was a freshman, and seeing people older than me have these passions and bring them to life by coming up with questions for the roundtables and actually facilitating and hosting them themselves, and then starting their own book drives, and then soliciting submissions for the anthology and actually editing the anthology together and creating this physical published book. It's really inspired me, and I'm so glad I participated in it, and I'm excited for my senior year as part of it.
Yay. So, and we've already kind of set the meeting times just so that people can think about their schedules. So the Turning the Page meets on Tuesdays from 7:15 to 8 p.m. And then the Community and Literary Event Committee meets on Thursdays from 7:15 to 8 p.m. And this is usually in the beginning every other Thursday, or the teens will determine how often we need to meet. And then I will show up with a Zoom link and be the mentor. So it's really fun for me to do this and to see them all come together and be so passionate. And then there's other leadership opportunities. And in the fall, there's a Teen Writers Summit. Sophia, were you involved? You were involved with the Teen Writers Summit. Do you want to speak about that?
Okay, so the Teen Writers Summit, basically, we all met at the beginning of the year and discussed what type of panels we'd like to see and what kind of panels we think that our fellow writers, teen writers, would like to see and learn about. I remember I thought, and then we also were like thinking of authors and editors and publishers we could reach out to who are accessible and that would actually participate and join us for the discussion, which it was kind of an exercise in reaching out and to people you'd normally think of as unreachable and seeing that, wow, you can actually talk to these people, invite them, have a conversation with them. So personally, I had a writing workshop with the poet Ellen Bass, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's such an amazing poet. I have her email. Why don't I just send her an email and see if she's even available or even willing to come and have a panel discussion on poetry? I sent her an email. I held my breath. My fingers were crossed. I really didn't expect her to even have the time to respond to me. But then, like the next day, she sent a response back. Sophia, I would love to send me more information. This is amazing. So it really just like, it was great. It was a great experience. And then she showed up. We had the panel. I was facilitating and asking questions to this renowned poet, and I had an amazing time.
So cool. It's so cool to see the Teen Writers Summit come together and all planned by teens. It's so great. And then you've heard us talking about the yearbook. That wouldn't happen without a yearbook committee in the spring, usually led by a senior. And we had this was our first year doing a yearbook as well. So can't wait to see it. And then there are teaching internship opportunities all semesters. But then you get really attached to the kids and just want to stay with them all year. It's true, right? It's true. Okay, Sylvie.
Yes, I got it. So I guess this one is a little bit more directed towards the students or prospective students. I know that it is, so I think a big part of the communication that happens in Writopia, especially because we're sort of increasingly online, is through the emails. For me, like a really lovely routine is checking the epistle, which is an email that Lena writes for all of us, and just gives updates on like, here are the things that are happening this month or this week, or upcoming events, so that you know when to attend things, opportunities you might have that you wouldn't know about otherwise. There are a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to attend or wouldn't have known to attend that I like if I hadn't read the emails. Personally, I understand. I think it's a skill that you sort of develop at almost around this time, is just being like better at responding and reading emails. But it is really important part of communicating with the organization and with people that you might be very glad that you spoke to. My advice that I've learned sort of the hard way is that if you get an email you need to respond to, or you need to read, just do it immediately, because if you don't, you're going to forget. And this is actually just an important skill to have. Being good about communication is just important on like a career level. The older you get, the more it's expected of you, just to like, it's part of your responsibility. I don't say that to lecture anyone. I've also struggled with that, but it's something that I think Writopia encourages a lot for good reason. I think that like pressure or like tough love or just like gentle, like you should be doing this more, has helped me, become just a better person in terms of communication. And I'm very grateful for that. But
Yay.
Writopians is check your email, respond to your emails, because it's how you make
Oh, I think you cut out.
And the episodes are also just lovely. They're very well written. They're full of joy. Sorry.
Well, thank you. So you just cut out a little bit.
Got
but
it. Okay.
No, thank you for appreciating, my pithy little joyful emails. And Sophia wanted to tell you all also, we also have a gratitude project that we started when COVID hit. And Sophia, do you want to tell them about that?
So in addition to the epistles, when I open up my Writopia Lab email, I usually open it up like every day, but especially before workshop on Wednesdays, I love opening it up and seeing this gratitude chain, which has started since 2020. And every creative portfolio just adds 5 things that they're grateful for each week. And I love reading through it and seeing it, and it really warms my heart. I also wanted to touch more on like the pre-professional email bullet of this slide, because I have my own individual school email, but I know that when I graduate, that email and my entire Google Drive that's attached to it will be completely wiped, which is a little bit devastating for me. So I'm slowly transitioning to using my Writopia email more and more, because I know that it's going to be there and it's a solid email and I really enjoy having it.
Yeah, I wanted to actually build up a little bit on that. Just, I think especially does really encourage the teenagers who are, growing up into more responsibilities and more like environments where more is expected of them. I think that it really does encourage that growth. And this is just one part of that. But I think it does really foster just like taking on responsibilities. That's part of why I think the leadership opportunities are so important and such a good part of this program. And again, why I would ask anyone here to come to our leadership like event planning meetings, because I think that it helps you get involved in your community. That's my extra plug.
I love that. I love that plug. Hold on. I'm trying to go to the next one. There we go. All right, gals. Sophia, you start.
Okay, we have field trips. I love field trips. I can't believe that it's been almost 3 months ago, but over Memorial Day weekend, there was a big group of creative portfolians that came to DC over Memorial Day weekend, and we had an author's corner with Christina McDowell to talk about her book, The Cave Dwellers, at Georgetown Library. We had fun excursions to go to the Word Museum and do writing on the Georgetown waterfront. It was like 4 days of pure bliss and joy and writing and hanging out with your writing friends. And then in 2023, we're going to do one in Philly, which I've heard is really good for playwriting and theater. Ooh.
We have Dan Katrosar, who is one of our wonderful wonderful people at Writopia, is living in Philly and doing theater there.
Yeah, I'm as a New York City and New York resident, I feel like I should talk about this. The city and the general area are such good places for like opportunity to explore, and like I think it's really cool. Our field trips are, I think, a wonderful part of just like going outside and engaging with your environment. So one big thing is the New Eurekan poetry readings, which are like a thing that Writopia has done since I've been here for sure. So I feel like it's somewhat of a tradition where you can go and perform your poetry in this sort of spoken word cafe that is very well respected. It's a really good experience to practice reading, which is an important part, I think, of being a poet, especially. And also to hear other people's work, which is always really exciting for me. I think that's also a big part of Writopia and what makes it so good, and like for me as a writer, very helpful, is to hear all this like stellar writing performed and learn from that as well. So that's a really good, I think, bonding experience. And if you're someone who struggles with stage fright, which I also definitely have, it's good to push yourself a little bit with that. But yeah, in general, I think that these field trips are just good ways to get outside and like explore your environment. There are so many places that are so like there's so many opportunities in New York City that I think a lot of people don't take, because we're sort of stuck in there's a lot of things going on, and that's understandable. I'm also very busy, but I think these are good excuses to go out with lovely people and experience lovely things.
So this is what I would do from Westchester when we were just in Westchester, which is a suburb of New York City. So I know that some of you on here do not live close to New York City. I know there's someone here from Madison, Wisconsin. Hi Jonah. So a field trip might look something different for you. But we'll try to be as inclusive as possible and come up with creative ideas for things so that you too, if you don't live in the city or in DC, you can have something else. Ooh, I just clicked on the makeup policy. So the creative portfolio writers are expected to commit to their workshop time throughout the school year. And there's no makeup. So if you're sick or you forget or we have a no makeup policy, but our schedules can really change. So we're able to make some exceptions if you have a schedule change or a conflict. So for instance, if you signed up for a Saturday workshop and then in the fall, and then in the spring, oh no, oh wonderful, you get on the baseball team and all of the games happen to be during your workshop time. Well, that's okay. We can switch your workshop time to a time that's more convenient. So we really can work with you with your schedule, because you're busy teens, you have other interests, things happen, and we just want to make this work for everyone. So for instance, though, Alex in Michaela's workshop does he does ultimate. Actually, now he's in Michaela's workshop, but before he got on the ultimate Frisbee team. So he was in another workshop, and he had to switch. Unfortunately, he was able to find a time, and there was space for him. So hopefully that makes sense. We will have time for all of your questions afterwards too. Okay. Click. Oh, did I miss a slide? Michaela?
I don't.
Oh, I think I did.
It's just we can't wait for you to join us, which we can just say, I think.
Yeah, and we skipped over tuition.
Oh, tuition, the little thing about tuition. Okay, let's see if I can find it. So we are I'm sorry, everybody, I can't do this. Hold on. I've got to see you all. I'm just going to talk about the tuition. So it is a little more expensive than just doing 3 trimesters of creative writing workshop, but that's because you get the 2 private sessions, you get a full submission prep day, and then all of these leadership opportunities. Honestly, being on one of these especially being on Turning the Page, which meets all the time, it's like having an extra workshop. So you can pay for the year up front, and I think you get a discount by doing that, or you can pay per trimester. And if you need to use a sliding scale, you can use our sliding scale, and we have an honor system. And then if you need even more assistance, then we can get our financial aid team involved and we can figure it out. So anything we can figure out. If you really want to do this program, we don't want there to be a barrier. So are there questions? Wait, there's some things in the chat. Oh, thank you, Michaela. See, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise Elena. It really does. So let's see.
Samantha had a question.
Yeah, about the breakdown. So Samantha, it still is run similarly to our creative writing programs in the sense that we're still doing a wide variety of creative writing, but we also want to challenge all our writers. All our creative portfolio kiddos that are there want to be challenged. And so we're learning a bunch of different techniques and styles within a wide variety of genres. And each trimester we have it split up with a few different genres. But that being said, we tend to do like personal essay and memoir and a few things, and fiction in the beginning, just also because so many kids are focused on submissions for Scholastic, and also college essay comes around that time. So sometimes focusing on that early on is great. Playwriting, we have a huge playwriting festival, as Sophia was saying. And so for the winter, we love to focus on that and playwriting and shift into poetry. It's just, and it's of course still it's whatever our kids are really passionate about as well. We never.
Oh, Michaela, I'm sorry. Can you show that slide?
Yeah.
Now I've lost confidence in my slideshow abilities.
No, I got it.
But we should show so Michaela, I think, yeah, you're co-host, so you should be able to.
Let me share my screen.
It's important to know what we're good at, right?
There you go. Can you all see it?
There we go. I could see it.
Great.
Michaela, you were going to go over the fall trimester, and then Sophia the winter, and Sylvie the spring.
Yeah, so just as I was mentioning, our fall trimester, we do focus on poetry and short fiction, usually detailed scene work, memoir and personal essay, which is my favorite, which is all about developing that narrative voice and also just finding like tone and your own story. And these are also culminating around submissions to Scholastic if our writers are interested in that. And then they also are looking into committing to those leadership opportunities.
Awesome. Sophia, so this is how it's a little different from creative writing, the regular creative writing workshop. I mean, we're challenging. We ask everyone to kind of step up to the plate and do the exercise that we're giving for that, to work on short story or flash fiction or poetry. But there's time to work on their passion projects too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can talk about playwriting. So I think in winter of 2021, I took a playwriting masterclass, and it was about microplays and how even in just like 3 or 4 pages, you can say a lot just with your dialogue. And I was really unsure about plays before. I never experimented in the genre, but then with the winter trimester, I worked on a couple of short plays, which I submitted to the Worldwide Plays Festival, and one of them got accepted, and it was really cool because I got to see a live reading of it performed in Bryant Park as part of the festival. And there are also fun exercises about playwriting, like playwriting with a partner, where you go back and forth with dialogue. And also, I see a question in the chat about getting to work on your own stories / pieces. I remember in my workshop, there was one of my friends, he was really into fantasy writing, and he wrote these amazing fantasy pieces that were his own personal passion project. But then Michaela introduced memoir one day and was like, this is what we're going to do, surprise. And I love memoir, so it's like, okay. But then my friend was kind of hesitant about it. But then when he shared later the piece that he wrote in just that hour of writing time, it was brilliant. It blew our minds away. It blew our socks off. We were like, wow, you need to write more memoir, because it was just so fabulous. And that's the magic of experimenting with new genres.
So yeah, so we're challenging writers to stretch themselves in different ways. So poetry informs our fiction, playwriting informs our fiction. Playwriting is all about relationships, right? And the dialogue and what is said and what is not said. And poetry is about economy of language and learning how to distill a moment, to distill the emotion, and everything is practice. Everything is building up our toolkit and ourselves.
Just before actually we jump into spring, I wanted to say that I'm a writer who has like definitely tried to push myself into many genres, and I think that one thing about this sort of philosophy of that people should try everything, even if it's not your thing, or you don't feel like it's going to be your thing. Is that I think that there are lessons you can learn from every kind of writing that you will, even if like it doesn't end up being your main field of interest, like even if you don't end up wanting to do very much poetry after the poetry exercises that you do, the lesson, like you said, about economy of language, about like the way that language can be used to evoke certain feelings or images, and the way that you can like really be aware of the use of your language in this, I think, pretty unique way to that particular craft. That is something that is super valuable in any kind of writing, regardless of whether or not that's specifically what you want to do. And then I think I was also supposed to talk about spring, which I'm more than happy to do. Talking about like working on your own stories. This is really the time that you're going to get to do that the most. For me, my thesis project has ended up being like has sort of become my like creative baby for the next year. I'm going to be working on it with English teachers at my school and with my instructors this year as well. I'm going to be working on just like, I had this sort of idea that my instructors definitely helped me work on and evolve about. It's going to be a short story collection that I'm going to have like finished by the end of the spring trimester, the end of the spring trimester of next year. But this is really where you get to like, it's not just that they support you through the actual work of it, but there's a lot of guidance in terms of what you want to make your thesis project, how to make it like doable, because I think long-term projects are much harder to like stay committed to and really like do and work on in a way that is meaningful. So you sort of have a lot of chances to like think about what you want to do, what is best for you. It can be in any genre, as long as it's kind of writing, and I found a lot of support in people who are doing guidance from your peers and also from your instructors. And you do have a lot of time in the classes themselves to do this kind of work, and to develop and to ask for support when you need it. My instructors have been like absolutely invaluable in my journey with my thesis project, which has been like very much a lot of work and a lot of intense rewriting and reconsidering what I even want from my work, but in a way that I think I would have gotten lost without Writopia, but I didn't. And I think I'm really on my way towards a piece that I'm very, very excited about. So, and I have friends that did very different things from me as well. So it's not like if you don't want to do fiction, that's totally okay. I have a lot of friends that have done wonderful poetry work, or really there's room for whatever makes your heart sing as a writer, whatever you're sort of here for or want to pursue. There's so many opportunities and like ways you can pursue it.
Thank you, Sylvie. That's wonderful. I'm super excited about your project. Love it. So applications are due. It's the sooner the better, but so I have a soft deadline of August 17th, which is in a week, but we'll be accepting applications through September 1st. So the most important part of the application is the writer's statement. As Michaela is smiling and nodding as the nonfiction, creative nonfiction memoir queen, that really tells us so much about you. And we want to see passion and wanting to be challenged and wanting to grow and loving writing. And then also the writing sample is just sort of don't stress out about the writing sample. We just want to see that you're writing, that you have something. So the Sylvie has to go. Bye, Sylvie.
I would say, Jonah, the average weekly time commitment, especially if you're doing at least you're doing one internship that trimester, it would probably be 3 hours, because your workshop meets for an hour and a half. And then if you were doing a teaching internship or one thing else, you meet for an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what that was. Some things meet bi-weekly, as we were saying. Some things meet each week. It just really depends on what commitment you're looking forward to.
And then also the leadership isn't, so we do accept ninth graders, but so that the leadership commitment in ninth grade is waived, because I think you're getting used to high school and you're getting used to reading emails and you're getting used to this commitment. So we're gonna go easier on you when you're ninth grade, because you're just getting used to it. Oh, if you are getting in from AWS, you're automatically accepted, my Ruby, automatically, because you already applied to advanced writing seminar. So you don't need to reapply. You were already accepted into the summer program. Parents can opt into the weekly emails too. I mean, I like parents to opt into that, because I think it's helpful that parents know what the opportunities are and what's going on. But I will ask you, because we do communicate a lot. So some parents might not want so many emails. So you can opt in. But some I will just send because they're really important. Yes, Samantha, Advanced Writing Seminar was sort of our summer version of Creative Portfolio. And your other question about, yes, so if you go into a Creative Portfolio workshop, you're in a workshop with other students who are doing Creative Portfolio. Yes, others who are making that commitment. So you have a cohort. So say you're in, I'm just going to use Michaela as an example. So say you're in Michaela's workshop, online Zoom workshop, and Michaela is one of our most popular instructors. She's amazing. So say you're in her Zoom workshop at from 9 p.m. to 10:30 Eastern, 6 p.m. to 7:30 Pacific. You would think that it would mostly be West Coast people, but no, there's Sophia. There's half of them are East Coasters. Yeah, so I've just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. What was I saying?
No, it's just they all are, every Creative Portfolio workshop is all just Creative Portfolio.
It's all just Creative Portfolio, and you stay with the same teacher, mentor for the year. But that being said, I mean, Sophia and I have, we've done AWS and Writopia and been in workshop together. And we've never been in a CP workshop together, but she's still my fairy goddaughter, so she's, so we're very close, and I'm still one of her many mentors. Let's see. So how many CP writers do you expect for the year? Well, it's interesting. So when we started in Westchester, it was for my existing teens who wanted it. So I had about 30, and that was in person. And then the next year in Westchester, we grew to 50. And then when we went online, we grew to 65 the first year, and then 80 last year. And then, so we're expecting about the same, about 80, with a combination of online and in person.
Yeah, and to go off this too, for those that said, you know, how we know how many will be there at our location, or how do we know if we choose online or in person? Some of our writers have been in the same workshop for most of their CP careers and want to stay together. And so they choose to be online or stay in that group. Others choose to be in person. Some deviate. So usually we'll find out as soon as we get all those registrations in and we're close to school year, who will be where and what that looks like. If you're taking that later workshop at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, you're gonna be with me. But Lena has quite a few as well throughout the different times. I mean, all our CP staff are absolutely incredible and so excited to work with your writers. If you know that there's a writer that you're friends with that you'd like to be with, or something you're curious about or anything like that, you're always welcome to email us or check in, and we can let you know closer to that date what it will look like.
So so for instance, I'm teaching online Mondays at 6 and Tuesdays at 5:30, and then in person in Westchester at 5:30 on Wednesdays. But in person, so Samantha asked when in person is in DC, and in person will also be in DC will be on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 7. And there's also a Saturday morning, late morning option from 11:15 to 12:45. So those are the in-person. We have a new registration system, which is designed to make everything easier. There are some hiccups, but you should look up Creative Portfolio as the program, and then you should be able to pick the date and location or Zoom that you want. We also have Zoom options on Saturdays too. If there's enough demand, we may do a different time or switch a time. Just we want to work with people. Yeah, so the Monday workshops begin September 12th, and they begin earlier than any other weekly ones, just because there's so many Mondays off because of Columbus Day, and I'm not Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. So I don't think the Tuesday, Wednesday begins that week. I think it begins the next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so are there any more questions? Yeah, writers choose online or in person as soon as you register. And does anybody, oh, thank you. Does anybody need the application or yes? Okay.
I love it, Samantha. All the questions, let's go.
I love it. Hold on. I have to find it. I have to log back on.
I can try and jump that real quick.
Let me find it. Okay. I'm finding it. All right. But while I'm
and
looking,
here's, I got the application.
Oh, you did? Okay.
There you all go.
You're quicker than I am.
Yeah. That's the application. And then I'm also going to link the link on our website just so you can also see all the information there as well.
I'm sorry, it's getting so dark in here. I don't know where the. I should turn on the light, but I don't know where one is.
You know,
I just moved. So.
Samantha, that's like a really great question. Sounds like CP gives the writers everything the regular workshops do, plus a lot of additional opportunities. Would there be any reason not to try for CP? Are there any trade-offs? Obviously, we're very partial to CP. The only thing I would say is it's an opportunity to really challenge yourself and to try new things and to take those risks. So if you're a writer that really strictly wants to stay with one thing and one thing only, it might be a little uncomfortable and not made, you know, and that would be the only thing. But I find, and as Sophia was saying, most of our writers that do this actually all and take that risk and try it, discover that they're love new genres. Sophia is a playwright and a memoirist,
and a poet, and
a poet,
and a flash fiction writer, and everything. He's got yeah.
But it's just a great opportunity to like you develop unique voice within each genre as well, and it's such a great community, truly. And as Lena was saying, actually, as everybody was saying, we work so hard to provide community, whether that's in person, whether that's online, different team meetups, you know, and even with their leadership, our teams are still finding new ways to come together, and we're constantly growing in that aspect. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, constantly.
Some do. Yeah, CP is not always enough. Sometimes they sign up for other workshops as well. We have specialty workshops. We have D&D. We have, you know, creative writing.
Do the DC people online have meetups? Yes. Yeah. So the event leadership committee, you know, will plan. Last year we had a poetry collage party meetup. We had a Halloween meetup. We had, and then COVID got in the way, but I think we're at this point where we don't want that to get in the way. Well, none of us wanted it to get in the way, and but yes, Houston, Texas. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go.
I would be your biggest advocate.
That's wonderful. That would be exciting. Let's maybe we can make it happen.
That would be amazing. I don't know what we would do if you guys weren't online, really, truly. When we moved a year and a half ago, that was my first thought is how are we going to do Writopia? So keep going, keep it online.
So it's wonderful to be online. I mean, we do see, I also in creative portfolio, because the teens are so committed, we do see a high level of more engagement. I mean, people do get sick of being online, but you really get to know the kids and become sort of a family in workshop, and you just really, it's just priceless. It really is. Like, it's my favorite thing. I love it so much.
I told friends here about you guys, and one of my friends, her daughter took a class over the summer, and she's like made new friends and is thrilled. So it's good.
It's great. Yes, anyone can do regional field trips. If Jonah wanted to visit New York City or DC for a special meetup, hey, let's do it. Let's meet up, Jonah. Let's figure it out. Say your parents are like, wow, let's go on a vacation. Let's go see some plays in New York. Let's time it. Let's talk to Lena and time it for when they're doing a meetup, or maybe Lena can organize a special meetup just so that Jonah can be included, or Robbie in Houston, Texas comes for a visit. You know, we can figure things out. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a Bay Area writer, one of our CPs, go up to DC for our field trip and retreat.
Yeah,
So
it was
we're really excited
amazing. Shruti was amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was amazing. I mean, of course, that's another financial thing, but you know,
Are there any other questions? Does everybody have the application? Is there anything else you all would like us to go over? We can wax poetic all day about
all
this.
day, or we can, and we can send the recording too, you know. And the slideshow, we could send you the slideshow if that helped, if that would help. And you can email us. Thank you all for coming.
It was so nice to see you all.
So nice to see you all. And you can email me. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone.